Subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you all. It's an absolute privilege to be amidst you all this evening after the wonderful day of Jumu'ah. And I mean it when I say it's a privilege to be here with you all, because I have an opportunity to speak to people who are part of our today as well as our tomorrow. Many a time in the English language we hear the phrase, our youth equals our future. But from an Islamic perspective, we know that our youth equals our today as well as our tomorrow. And above this reality, we live in the age of the 21st century, the age of technology, the age of information explosion, and an age whereby not only can we be part of tomorrow, but be part of a tomorrow that we instigate today. Your parents or your grandparents, when they assumed their positions in society, they had to assume positions that were laid out by other people. We live in a time frame today whereby you can assume positions tomorrow that you can be fundamentally involved in its creation and how it pans out today. That is the reality of the time that you all live in. So this is a very unique time that we live in, which makes each and every one of you even more important and even more precious in terms of the vision that I have and what I am trying to achieve. Now, with these positives cited, the age that we live in comes with negatives as well. And we see these negatives, and we must speak about these negatives so it doesn't overshadow the unique, priceless opportunities that you all have. From the negative aspects of this time is having access to information even when you're not looking for that information. When you have access to things that do not concern you, access or information actually arriving at your doorstep that you never even had to search for, you haven't actually even looked for. At times it's beneficial, but many a time it's not beneficial, and it creates a reality of distraction. Many of the youth today, they say we're better at being, or we're better at multitasking than our parents were. We're better at multitasking than our grandparents were. And my response to these youth are, you're not better at multitasking, rather you're better at being distracted. That is the reality. We live in a time where people are better at being distracted. This Insta age can come with great negativity if it's not honed in, if we do not prioritize how we conduct ourselves with the technology, with the information available, and so on and so forth. We live in the Insta age, no doubt. It's the age of Instagram, Insta communication, Insta access to things. When you send someone a message, or when you want to communicate with someone, you can instantly communicate with them. When then it wasn't enough. You wanted to know whether the message actually went, so then they gave you one tick. Then it wasn't enough. You wanted to know that the message was delivered, so they gave you 2 ticks. Then it wasn't enough. You wanted to know whether the message was read, so they gave you 2 blue ticks. And so on and so forth. Everything became Insta. And in the process of things becoming Insta, and us as a society not being quick enough to educate people of the harms of this, what happens is we short-wire our brains, we short-wire our systems, and we become people that become addicted to being distracted. And when you're distracted, you become a person with a lot of movement, but very little progress. And there's a difference between movement and progress. A rocking horse moves, but it doesn't progress. We as a society today are busy doing a lot of things. You guys in the Islamic society are busy, right? You're busy. You go home in the evening and you count the things that you've done. You've heard a lecture online. You probably heard a book audibly. You probably read notes. You probably sat in a study group. You met with the ISOC team. You planned the next 3 months programs, and you did a lot of things. And you feel that you've had a productive day. But did you really have a productive day? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. Or was it just a day of a lot of movement, but no real progress? Newton's second law states F equals ma. Force equals mass times acceleration. And it's very unique if we expand our understanding of this formula and apply it to the movement of our lives today. Because the law is basically saying that force cannot be force unless acceleration is put in the right direction. If acceleration is not put in the right direction, there's no use of that force because the intended outcomes will never be. If you're trying to push a door open but you're applying that force the wrong way, will the door open? Yes or no? It won't open. So that acceleration has to be utilized in the right way. Take that formula, apply it to your lives today. There's a lot of force in the form of a lot of movement that each and every one of us is involved in, but the question begs to be asked. Are we progressing as a result of the energies that we are using? Are we progressing as a result of the lectures we're listening to? Are we progressing as a result of the books that we are reading, the people that we are speaking to, the people that we are befriending, the programs that we are engaged with, the projects that we are volunteering in? Are we progressing as a people? And 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, your answer would probably be a massive no. Now, I'm not saying this to attack anyone here or be stereo-minded and put anyone down. I'm not doing that. But from experience, the answer would be a no. A few years ago, I was blessed to have a program which spanned several universities from London all the way up to Leeds. And I think it was about 3, 4, or even 5 years ago. And the program started at a wonderful venue in London at the University of the University of Central London, UCL, the University of Central London. And at that time, it was the 3rd best university in the world. And the MSA or the ISOC there arranged a wonderful program. The venue was full. It was probably a class twice or thrice the size of this particular venue. And it was absolutely filled, and they had present in this particular talk some of the lecturers at the university as well. And during this particular program, I asked for a volunteer student to stand up. And one person eventually, after a lot of pushing and nudging and shoving, but that's how it is today, right? We all act like alpha individuals, but when you ask someone to step up and volunteer, we always look down, we look at the person on our right, look at the person on our left. We don't want to be, everyone feels we're going to be embarrassed, so we're not going to stand up. But eventually, alhamdulillah, after prodding, one person stood up. So I asked him a question. I needed to get to know who he was first. So I asked him what he's studying, and he said proudly that I'm studying medicine. So obviously medicine, what do you guys think of medical students? Clever students? Clever, right? Clever students. I asked the same question to the audience. Everybody said yes, everybody was, they're very clever. They got to memorize medicines and codes, and there's a lot of information that they're packing in. So they're very intelligent students. I said perhaps medical students are from the cleverest of this wonderful university that you have, because obviously it's a well-established university. I think at the time they were ahead of Cambridge or Oxford or one of the well-known university toppers internationally yearly. So everyone is intelligent, but through their own consensus, they agreed that the medical students are a tier above. So I asked him a simple question. I said, I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and I want you to answer that question immediately. First thought that pops up to your mind, answer it. There's no right or wrong answer to it. Just answer the question. He said, okay. I said, why do you study medicine? You guys are also smiling as well. Right? And he was stunned. His finger went in his mouth, eyes went to the sky, and obviously he was having an internal journey with himself at that moment that he didn't actually have an answer. And everyone started laughing naturally. That's what, as long as people sit on the student chair, they act like children. It happens. I've seen it even with adults. So you teach adults and you make them sit on the student chair, then they have, the youngish kind of approach, like, when it's exam time, what questions are going to be in the exam? Like 30, 40-year-old man. What questions are going to be in the exam? How is the exam going to be? The same questions we used to ask when we were kids. Something happens when people sit on these chairs. So they all started laughing. I said, why are you laughing? I'm going to ask you the same question. If you laugh, I'm going to ask you the same question. And there was a deafening silence after that. So he said, he finally found the courage, and he says, because I enjoy studying medicine. So I said, okay, what if your university changes your program and says all medical students from now on, will be locked up in a room for 48 hours, get 6 lashes, and no food or drink or water for that whole period. Will you still enjoy your degree? He said no. So I said, what will you do? So I'll leave. And that's a problem. That is where the problem is. You cannot invest 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of your life. And in this day and age, it's costly. Universities charge. It's not like before, right? You cannot invest all that time to do a hobby. You know what you do because you enjoy it? A hobby. That's what you do when you just simply enjoy something that you're ready to give up when it's no more enjoyable. You know, you work on the 3-month project, you're going to design a particular city in a creative way, you're motivated about it. When it's done, if I tell you when you do the arts and craft again, you say, I'm not really interested in that now. I've done it, it's there, I want to move on to something else. These are hobbies. You do them because you enjoy them and you leave them when they're no more enjoyable. You cannot make a life-changing decision or enter a life-changing program on the basis of you merely enjoying it. There has to be some other fundamental value as to why you do what you do. Why are you studying the degree that you study? Why are you investing hours and minutes and weeks? Why are you investing your stress, your exam stress, sleepless nights? This happens, natural, right? You have exams, you get stressed, and it's countless. It comes year after year after year, right? All the assignments, and so the process you're putting yourself in is going to disturb your salah, it's going to disturb your Quran, it's going to disturb other important, other acts of worship, which are acts of worship in and of themselves, right? Which are far more valuable in terms of building your Jannah than acts of worship which we make an act of worship through our intention. There's a difference in reward. So you are going into a program heavily, investing heavily into, you investing your life heavily into something, and you don't know why. That's a fundamental problem. The reality will always be, my younger brothers and sisters in Islam, that everything we do in this world will be a means to an end. You have to understand that. Right? When you sleep, it's a means to an end. When you eat, it's a means to an end. When you get married, it's a means to an end. Where you live is a means to an end. The degree you take also is a means to an end. If you don't know what that end is, what on earth are you doing? What are you doing? You're wasting your life. There is nothing more valuable than time. Because time has absolute value. Everything else in life has relative value. In my deliberation, I could be wrong, but when I ponder over things, I don't find anything having absolute value like time has absolute value. Money has value, but it's relative. £100 is a lot of money to a student, but it's nothing to a millionaire. It has relative value. But time has the same value to a millionaire as it has to a billionaire, as it has to a poor person as well. Because everybody only has 24 hours in their day. You are investing 3 years, up to 7 years of your life in a program and you don't know why. What are you doing? You're burning your life away. What are you doing? How many times have you come across people who graduate from their degrees and they're working in fields far away from the degrees that they studied? All that knowledge they developed. All that knowledge they developed. And it's a waste of time. 3-4 years of reading and specializing and pondering and deliberating over and researching, and you're willing to flush it at the first chance you get. You graduate, you wear the nice hat, the nice robe, take a few pictures, go on Facebook, show everyone you graduated, and that's what it is, the personality age that we're in. We're all about the show. As long as we show we graduated, then so it's okay. And then the next day, forgotten about. How many times have you come across students, and I hope that's not you, but I can tell you from experience it happens to me. Students write to me because they want me to help them with their parents. Why? Because they want to change their degree and their parents are not happy about it. Hey, that's not a small matter. You're 1.5 years into the program, half a year into the program, 1 year into the program. Now you want to change your specialization? If you change your specialization, are you going to get your age back? You were 18 when you started. Are you going to become 18 again? Or 19 when you started? You're going to become 19 again? It's gone. You're going to start a degree from zero, but now you're 1.5 years older than you were. Why did you make the wrong decision in the first place? You cannot experiment with these things. Yes, the concept of experimentation is always going to be there, but you cannot be blind-sighted when it comes to these type of decisions. And that is why when you tell me to come and talk to you about clarity amidst confusion, I have to come and talk to you about the importance of having a vision. A vision. This is fundamentally important. Because today, sadly, we are quickly becoming a people, if we are not already a people, who are a people of television rather than being a people of having a vision. And this is the problem. You want to live as the TV people do. You want to live as a personality. And a personality means nothing, brothers and sisters in Islam. There's a hadith which is questionable in terms of its authenticity, but its meaning is correct. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَى أَجْسَادِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look at your bodies and your appearances. Doesn't look at the show you put on Facebook. He looks at your heart and your deeds. He looks at you, at your reality, not at the show. Allah doesn't judge you based on people's perception of you. And this is the age that we're in. This age of perception, especially. In my deliberation over this age, it definitely started after World War I, but it's fundamentally been progressing and evolving after World War II in an even greater way, where it didn't matter who you were, it mattered the show that you succeeded in putting out. You could be absolutely poor, but pitch yourself as a rich person, and people will give you opportunity based on your pitch. Right? And vice versa. You could be absolutely rich, but pitch yourself as someone poor and effectively sell it, and people will be convinced that you are a poor person. It's the age of deception and hypocrisy. You can't afford to be that. You have to be the real deal, the person who walks the talk, and the person who talks the talk. And to do that, you have to have this vision. Now, this topic of a vision is a big one. It's not going to be one we're going to discuss here, but I'm pitching it to you as something that you need to go on and read about and research about and ask your MSAs and ISOCs to bring to you workshops related to this. Alright? Might be a bit late to start drafting a vision when you've already started your degrees. I believe it's something that should be done before you get to choose your A-level subjects, because the vision, brothers and sisters in Islam, is what will help you make every decision you make until you meet Allah. I'll ask you a question. What's the first thing you do when you want to build a house quickly? First thing. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. And every time I ask this question, in every university, that is the word that comes up. Humayun, you witnessed to it? Right? How many times have we run this talk? Manchester, now with Birmingham. Same answer. Wrong. How can you dig a foundation to a house you don't know about? You don't know how this house will look. You need the plans. You need to see what this house is going to be like. You need to be pleased with the blueprint before you start pumping money and time into the foundation. Because how you dig the foundation is going to fundamentally decide how this house is going to look. If you're just going to go about digging the foundation and growing this house, what's going to happen later on when you're halfway through and you decide that this room is too small and that room is too big, and you needed an extra room on this side of the house, and you want a flat roof instead of a slanted roof? What's going to happen? What's the builder engineer going to tell you? That we can do it, but we've got to drop the house to the bottom and redig the foundation again. That's money lost. That's time lost. And what would you call that? You'd call it a waste. What are you doing with your lives? What are you doing with your lives? Have you seen the blueprint of your life? When you close your eyes, can you see a world that you would like to see the day you die? When you die, what will people miss about you? What value are you going to bring to this world? That is what a vision is. That is the vision. When you close your eyes, you can see yourself at the end when the house is built. You can see your life at the end. You can see yourself looking at your wife, looking at your husband, looking at your children, looking at your parents, looking at your grandchildren, looking at your community, looking at your relationship with Allah, and you can see a picture that motivates you, that pleases you, that you want to spend your whole life painting that image. That everything you do will be the movement of your hands on your white canvas, painting your life. the degree you study, the person you marry, the place you settle in, the job you take. All these are strokes of the brush in you painting your picture, creating that image that pleases you. When you have a vision, you become a person that wants to wake up in the morning, not a person that's tired of waking up in the morning. It's the vision that keeps you awake at night and makes the next day most exciting to you. Today we can't wait to sleep at night, and the one thing we hate is waking up in the morning. Let's be honest. Right? Who's motivated? Who's coming to class 1 hour early and 2 hours early? Who's doing that? Because you're motivated. You understand what this is going to lead to. So that's the vision, brothers and sisters in Islam. And we need it, and we need it fast before we get consumed by the Insta age. We short-wire our minds. We become addicted to dopamine, which is what is happening. And what does being addicted to dopamine equal? It means being addicted to being distracted. And if you are a person who is distracted, then guess what? You're not going to move anywhere. It'll be that rocking horse that will be at the same place whilst you're out of breath, thinking you're moving forward. I think when we were all young, we were all read to Alice in Wonderland, right? And when you were young, sitting at school, on the floor, when there were no mahram issues, boys and girls all together, teacher reading the book, everyone is listening, we're reading Alice in Wonderland, right? There's a scene in there about this witch who puts Alice in the glass bottle, right? You remember this? Anyone remember it? And then the witch is saying, run, 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 and she's running and running, and the witch is saying, faster, and she's running and running and running and running, and then she's out of breath and she stops. And she's panting and panting and panting, and when she looks around, she says, but I'm still in the same place. Sadly, if we're honest with ourselves, this is who we are. Perhaps. إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ اللَّهُ. Except those who Allah's mercy has fallen upon, and they have been saved. So the vision, what is the vision? As I said, it's a picture of the world you want to see the day you die. And it's one that motivates you. It will keep you excited, waking up every day until the day you die. That is the vision. That is the vision. And I'll give you a quick example, because as I said, we're not going to do it here, but at least you should have concept. Normally I give this example using a dear brother from Jamaica. Is there anyone from Jamaica here? Anyone? Alright, so we can go ahead with the example. There's no offense to any Jamaicans anyhow. But let's say we have a brother from Jamaica. Right? We have a brother from Jamaica, his name is Muhammad. Muhammad, he was sitting in the lecture, and, well, not this lecture. Muhammad, when he was young, he woke up one day and he decided that, you know what, I want to ski in Jamaica. I want to ski. Now, that's fine, that's his dream. There's no problem. But does he have a problem? What's his problem? It's not the UK, right? There's no blizzards hitting here suddenly and sudden snowfalls in Yorkshire and Lancashire, and the Met Department's not even aware, and the salt machines have been stranded somewhere. Allah understand. That's what I've been reading since I've come into it. So he wants to ski, and there's no snow. But it's his dream that this is what he wants to see the day he dies. So take Brother Muhammad for a minute here. Brother Muhammad, when he chooses A-level results, his A-level subjects, what subjects do you think he's going to choose? What do you think? Is he going to choose more science-related subjects to help him get access in university to courses that put him in laboratories and give him access to grants and help him experiment how to make synthetic snow or something like this? Do you think that's plausible? Or do you think he'll just go and study accounting and commerce and these type of subjects? No, he won't make the mistake. He's not going to be the brother who studies the wrong subjects and goes to university and gets told, no, you can't study this because you made a mistake 2 years ago. He's going to know what he wants to study. Even when other people tell him, no, business studies is good for you. Doesn't bother him. And he doesn't lose sleep over what they're saying. He's not that type of young man who is always iffy. But what if, Shaykh, I made the decision, but what if? You say, brother, to counsel him, you don't have tawakkul, brother. I made a decision, tawakkul. No, he's not that brother, he has tawakkul already, alhamdulillah. He's chosen his sciences, everyone is telling him he made a mistake, he knows he hasn't made a mistake. Why? And he's motivated. No one needs to force him to study. No one needs to force him to research. He's applying himself in his field because he knows I'm going to university, I'm going to excel in this. When he goes to university, does he need many months to choose which university he's going to go to? No, he's clear. He knows which university he wants. When he gets to university, is he going to have a problem in terms of which specialty to go into? What to do what to study as a bachelor's? Absolutely not. He's going to be clear because he knows everything is a means to an end. To people skiing in Jamaica, so all these are the movements of my paintbrush on my canvas. I need this to get me there. I need that to get me there. When the degree gets tough and the exams get difficult, maybe he's ill, he can't manage, and everything is pushing him to dropping out. Do you think he's going to drop out? No, because he's going to remember his vision and how much this means to him. He needs to get this done in this time frame because he needs to move to the next step. Does that make sense? Alright, so now he graduates. When do you see him in his free time reading books or listening to audible books, for example? What type of books do you think he'll be reading? Definitely something related to what he wants to build, what he wants to achieve. When he wants to get married, do you think he's going to be confused? Let's say he meets this amazing sister, but she wants to settle in Italy. What is he going to say? Yes to her or no? No. And he's going to move on and look for another sister. And when all the other uncles and aunties tell him, but you're crazy, this sister is amazing, half of the Quran, and you know, what are you doing? You're crazy. How can you say? He's saying, listen, she's a good sister, she's not right for me, right for somebody else. Because I know where I'm going, this is not a match. Compatibility is not happening. Do you see the clarity the brother has? And the sister would have if she lived her life like this? You make decisions clearly, freshly, without regret. You have clarity. And they say the shortest way between 2 points is a straight line. When you have a vision, you move between 2 points in a straight line. But today what happens? The brother wants to get married. What do? You email the Shaykh. And the Shaykh, mashallah, no one asks the Shaykh for fiqh. No one's asking the Shaykh for fatwas these days. I'll open my email for you. I'll show you. They'll tell you the fatwa. Yeah, people will email you telling you, Shaykh, music is halal. That's what they'll do. You know? Halloween is now Halal-Ween. It's halal. Now they'll tell the Shaykh. Yeah, they don't ask the Shaykh for fatwas. No, they write to the Shaykh, Shaykh, I locked my keys in the car, so what do you want me to do, Shaykh? How do you get my keys out? Basically, you get what I'm saying. Yani, it's good, alhamdulillah, write to the Shaykh. So they write to the Shaykh, Shaykh, I'm going to see a sister. Say, MashaAllah, brother, barakallahu feek, Allah make it easy for you and grant you what's best for you. Say, Shaykh, Jazakallah khair. Shaykh, I have a question. Right, no problem. Ask your question. What should I ask her? What should I ask her? Brother, are you going to get married to her or am I going to get married to her? This is what's going on. Are you going to see her or I'm going to see her? I have my own questions. It's got nothing to do with you. What's your question? I don't know what you should ask her. You ask her what you should ask her. What you should know you should be asking because you know that this is a means to an end and you know that end and this marriage is going to help you get there. Why are you asking me? That is the biggest sign for me that this person is not ready. And that is why we have these compatible issues in marriage today. It's compatibility issues. Because life is such that as you grow, you will make mistakes and you will learn from the mistakes. And when you get to 35, you get to 40, you're going to get wise. And the light bulb's going to realize the world you want to see the day you die. Suddenly. But guess what? You're going to look at your degree and you're going to see that you studied the wrong degree. You're going to look at your spouse, oh man, I married the wrong person. You're going to look at your children, you're not going to be happy there either. You're going to look at the city that you're in, city doesn't help you achieve what you want to achieve. Then what happens? You have a midlife crisis. That's a midlife crisis. When you realize that you can't live the life that you want to live. Because it's far gone. It's too late. Right? So brothers and sisters, the vision gives you clarity. If I asked you all to describe our brother Muhammad in one way, in one word, you would easily say, yeah, brother Muhammad, we know him. He's the snowman. Clear. If I ask your friends to describe you in one word, will they be able to describe you? Yes or no? Maybe yes. With a word starting with C. Confused. Right? I look at what he does in the day, doesn't make sense to what he's doing at night, doesn't make sense to what he's doing after Dhuhr, doesn't make sense to what he's doing over there, everything is just pastime, and he feels happy because he's passing time being busy. Brothers and sisters in Islam, you are the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You were sent to give, not to take. Collectively we carry the legacy of nubuwwah. We don't have time to waste. Life is short. You can't afford to make life shorter through wasting time, through doing the wrong things. This ummah is the best ummah, not by chance. It's the best ummah because after Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the legacy of nubuwwah was not taken off the shoulders of one man and shifted to another man. It was taken off the shoulders of one man and placed on the shoulders of an entire ummah. That ummah is you and me. We are interdependent beings in carrying this legacy. And we will be questioned about it on the day of Qiyamah. And that is why when Allah tells us, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ, that you are the best of all people, Allah doesn't stop there. Because there's no symbolical stuff in the Sharia. Islam is not a religion of symbols. There's no symbolical things, just, it's not that easy. You got to put in the work. It's not like royalty, you just get born into royalty so you become a royal. It's not like that. You are the best of all people. Why? تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. You are the best because of these three things. You are an advocate for good. And you work against the progress of retrogression and evil. And you believe in Allah. That is why you are the best. And if you go back to this ayah, you'll see that Allah uses throughout it the present tense. And in the Arabic language, the present tense, it carries a due meaning. They say وَفِعْلُ الْمُضَارِعِ فِي اللُّغَةِ الْعَرَبِيَّةِ يَقْتَضِي الْحَالُ وَالْإِسْتِقْبَالِ or الْحَالُ وَالْإِسْتِمْرَارِ. That the present tense in the Arabic language carries the meaning of now and something continuous. Alright, now that you understand that, let's go back and retranslate the ayah. You are the best of all people. Why? Because you believe in Allah? No, because you always believe in Him. Because you sometimes promote the good? No, because you always do that. Because you sometimes are an advocate against evil? No, because you always do that. It is your 24/7 occupation, description. You are defined by it, and guess what? If that is your description, collective description, then you are collectively carrying the description of the best people that walk the face of this earth, the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam. And yes, they were the best because of this occupation. We collectively carry their occupation, so we collectively become the best as well. So Allah's going to question you on the day of Qiyamah about this. Why are we going to be questioned about what they did with the da'wah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam before him? You cannot afford to waste time. Life is too short to make it shorter through wasting time. So, look, I'm not trying to bring depression to anyone here. Maybe there's a few people thinking, subhanAllah, man, I need to leave my degree right now. No, don't make rash decisions, because at the end of the day, you're in what you're in. You need to find a way to make what you're in work. Right? And there's some youth that I mentored, and there was a boy very talented, and when we sat down and drafted his vision for him, he was in his A-levels, and I thought I caught him early. But unfortunately, it was late, because the subjects he took was going to put him in a particular field. And his vision was very development orientated. What would motivate him, and his passion, etc., etc., was very development orientated. So he was stuck. But alhamdulillah, through research and speaking to the guidance counselors at the schools and the universities that he was applying to, we came up with a pathway for him that he finishes his degree and does a master's in education, and so on and so forth, to put him on track with opportunities that he could pursue to help him create the world he wanted to see the day he died. So there's always a way. Alhamdulillah, this is from the benefits of the 21st century. So this is clarity amidst confusion, brothers and sisters in Islam. We need to have a vision and understand that life, everything about it, is that it will always be an end in and of. It will be a means to an end and never be an end in and of itself. The only one thing that is an end in and of itself is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and believing that He exists and believing that He's the only one worthy of worship and worshiping Him. That is the only end in and of itself. That is the only end. Right? Because that's the reality by design. It's physics. That's how Allah has done it. And that is why Allah says, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَعِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. It is through the remembrance of Allah. This dhikr here doesn't just mean saying, subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. No. It's the remembrance of substance that stems from solid belief in Him and that He is the only one worthy of worship. Because life has a void that nothing can fill except belief in Allah and tasting the sweetness of sujood, worshipping Him. That is the reality. Right? And that's why we see those who spend their time denying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they try and fill that void in different ways, through drinking, through drugs, through womanizing, through zina, through... I'm sure you've seen it. That's basically what they're trying to do. You know those happy hours? That's what it's about. You know why the happy hour, everyone's waiting for it? They're willing to spend their money in it, whether even though you look at it, it just doesn't make sense. Why is it so attractive to go and lose your mind? Why? Because some people believe that through that they fill the void that they feel. It's the only time they feel that void filled because they're out of their senses with regards to it. It's just how it is by design. Now, I'm sure you've seen with the atheist movement as well. Now, their books are coming out about I'm an atheist who believes in God. Now the evolution's happening. They found there's a void, nothing's filling. So the only thing that is worth, the only thing that we do things for, in and of itself is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything else is a means to an end. You need to understand that end. And don't tell me the end is Jannah, because let's get serious. Everyone's end is Jannah. I don't think there's anyone here who doesn't have a vision of going to Jannah. There's something seriously wrong. Right? Everyone's end is to go to Jannah. But tell me how. Khalid ibn Walid did it by participating in 100+ battles. Abdurrahman ibn Auf did it through amazing trade that made him a billionaire. He was a billionaire. And by the way, 5 of the 10 people who were promised Jannah before they passed away were billionaires. 5 of the 10. They passed away with estates in today's currency value would equate into the billions. Right? Right? That's the reality. And by the way, I'm not sharing this with you from my pocket or from this is being mentioned by the shurrah of hadith, by the explainers by the commentators of hadith in the discussions of the narrators and the acts of their life in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Hurairah was the pillar of hadith, right? Uthman was a pillar with the Quran, and he was a leader, and he was a businessman. He bought his paradise through buying a well and arming and equipping an army. Radiallahu anhu. How are you going to get to Jannah? That is the question. How are you going to get to Jannah? Alright, brothers and sisters in Islam, the talk can't end before we share some action points, because that is just the nature of talks that I present. I got to be true to my own ethos and the vision that I'm trying to create, which is a world of ignited communities that benefit humanity. I stand in front of you with that vision, and I speak to you this message because of that vision. And I choose my programs carefully in terms of this end that I'm trying to achieve, right? Even what I'm doing now is a means to an end. It's a means towards creating ignited communities that benefit humanity. Now there's much to be done with regards to this, but I want to leave with you 3 pieces of homework, right? 3 pieces of, or 3 action points. 3 action points, inshallah, because it's fundamentally important that we take away some takeaways for you to use. Brothers and sisters in Islam, understand well that there's a difference between inspiration and transformation. You might be sitting here feeling inspired, and I pray that you are. And that inspiration is not because of me, it's because of your Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you for a greater purpose, and 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth, it was decreed that you would sit and listen to this message. Alright? So, you have your special status with Allah. But know and understand, and I say wallahi wa billahi wa tallahi, if you are not prepared to fight, if you are not prepared to work, if you are not prepared to fight laziness and fight procrastination and fight being distracted, you're going to go nowhere. This whole issue of being inspired, it's a deception of shaitan. He is happy to make you come here and fit you in a bubble where you are running around in a story of movement and no progress. And you feel good. Why? Because I attended a talk and I felt good about it. Wallahi, this talk will mean nothing if tomorrow you didn't become a better person because of it. Understand it and understand it well. For those who follow my writings, follow my lectures, you will come across some of my writings and lectures in relation to the celebrity fan culture in the da'wah that we see. for those who follow my speech. And that has become because of this addiction to inspiration. That's what happens. You're addicted to getting a boost and a lift. And perhaps you've attached yourself to a speaker who does that for you, and that's all you are with the speaker. You probably even forward their stuff without listening to it. And I'll give you a case study from my own experience. In the Haram, I met a person, random person, heart surgeon from the States, in Mecca, in December. And he was telling me about, mashallah, this one speaker, and he's doing excellent work, mashallah. Again, this has got nothing to do with the speaker, it's got to do with the public, with you. So he's telling me, oh, I just love this Shaykh. I just love him. I said, mashallah, really, yeah, forward his stuff, and we just love listening to him, and I wish I can meet him, and mashallah, and he's Justin Bieber or something. So, okay. I said, mashallah, that's good. So I said, so you benefit from the Shaykh? He goes, yes. I said, tell me one thing you've learned from him. And guess what? The finger went into the mouth, and the eyes went into the sky. And you know what he said? That's a really good point, That's what we're doing to even the da'wah that's coming to us. We found a way to put a personality to it and detach it from its character so that we feel we're pious, but let's get real here. There's no real piety going on. As I said, Allah's not going to judge you on the show. He's going to judge you based on the reality. Alright, 3 action points. Before that, some homework. I want you to listen to a talk called The 3 Eyes of Success. There's a few online, but there was one which I delivered in Blackburn. You know a town called Blackburn? Yes? Alright, Google that, Sajid Umar. It will come up, inshallah. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, I want you to search online for an article. And that article is called Transformers. And no, it's not about Optimus Prime. But it's about you becoming an Optimus Prime. Okay? Transformers. I published it on Islam 21C a few weeks ago. You know of Islam 21C? Right. Search for it with my name as well. It will come up. You have to read that article and you've got to listen to this talk. Now, in terms of the action points going forward, brothers and sisters in Islam, I want you to do the following. Is there a better pen than that? Can I use this board here? Yeah. Right. Action point number 1. Each and every one of you need to start a project. And that project is called Project You. You're going to start treating yourself as a project. Okay? You're going to start treating yourself as a project. Why not? Are you not worth it? You are a project. Everything about you needs time, needs effort, which is being forgotten in the age of distraction. The project is called Project You. And with regards to this project, you need to do 2 things. Number 1, you need to do one thing. Let's keep it simple. You need to create a board of directors for yourself. You know what a board of directors are? Or is? You know that? Guys, 21st century teenagers, children, not so small. But you guys know what a board of directors are, right? Every project has a board of directors, right? You're going to find yourself a board of directors. You're going to think in your life of someone who loves you sincerely, who is wise, who you can call anytime you need to make a big decision. And you're going to list their name in your board of directors. Then you're going to think of another person who loves you, who you trust, who's knowledgeable about matters of halal and haram. And you're going to list them as part of your board of directors. Then you're going to find a person who sincerely loves you and is inspirational to you. And you're going to put their name under your board of directors. Then you're going to call each and every one of them and you're going to tell them that I've listed you as the board of director of a project called Project You. And this is what Project You is, and this is why you've been listed. When I call you, please within 3 days respond. Make it 3 days. Now I told you I'm giving you 3 pieces of work. Give them 3. 3 is a good number. Good number for us to work with. Do things in threes, right? So I'm giving you 3 days to respond. Because you'll scare them. If you tell them when I call you, you have to respond, they'll say, hey, I don't know time. But people are busy, right? So please, within 3 days, respond. Unless there's an exception and I really need you urgently. Right? Why do you need a board of directors? Because you cannot be judge and jury of your own success. You cannot have a conflict of interest in terms of the biggest decisions of your lives. And that's where your parents come in. Right? So your parents come in. Many of you, not you, but you, the youth, right? The you from youth, right? I have good thoughts in you in front of me. But many have this pompous attitude that, you know what? I know more than my parents. My parents are not educated as I am. My parents didn't finish primary school, they didn't finish secondary school. My parents didn't learn Quran like how I learned Quran. They didn't enter themselves into the opportunities that I have. I know more. So when they speak, you don't listen to them. But guess what? I have news for you. I have news for you. If you can see further than your parents, if it's established that you can, because you said you can, if it's established that you can, it's only because you're standing on their shoulders. So behave yourself and humble yourself and respect the one carrying you. If they didn't do what they did, you will not be where you are. Yeah? So respect your parents and listen to their counsel. They have from the university of life. They have learned right and wrong the hard way. And they sincerely love you and want to protect you from learning right and wrong the hard way. That's the reality. Right? So don't keep your parents outside of your board of directors. They have a wisdom. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying they're angels. I'm not saying they're going to be 100% correct all of the time. And that's why we have istikhara and other shura. Right? However, it doesn't mean that sometimes they're wrong, that they're wrong all of the time. That is not correct. And remember what I said. Find someone who sincerely loves you. And I promise you, most of the time, you won't find anyone who loves you more than your parents. And there's no one more desperate for your success than them. That's the reality. Maybe your friends love for your success, not as much as your parents. They love for their success more than your own. But your parents, they will give up their own success for you. It's by design. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done it. What Allah has put in the hearts of mothers and fathers, this is from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth. Right? So, don't exclude your parents from the process. So, get yourself a board of directors and never have a conflict of interest in terms of your success and your movement. This ummah is an ummah of shura. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted about the Sahaba whom He praised subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they were a people of shura. They had mutual consultation. So this is step number 1. Project Youth, and you're going to get yourself a board of directors. Number 2, cave days. You have to introduce caves to your life. I'm not saying go find rocks from some Cumbria or Lake District or something. I'm not asking you to do that. I know we live in cities today, but I mean the concept of caves. The cave has been fundamental in our history with regards to guidance. The Prophet ﷺ received guidance in a cave. And the hijrah of Islam, the journey that is said to be the journey that was a means of Islam arriving to us today, during that journey, the Prophet ﷺ was saved where? In a cave. Surah Al-Kahf, which we read every Friday, Allah tells us about the 7 sleepers. Where did they seek refuge to save their deen and have clarity? Where did Allah put them? In a cave. You need to get cave days into your life. Cave days, i.e. thinking days. That's what I mean. Thinking days. I want you all to have days in your month. If you can, in your weeks. Have days that you block out. You tell everyone you're not available. Your phone is off, the internet is off, everything is off. This is my thinking day. I'm going to think about myself and my life. Alright? What am I going to do in this thinking day? You're going to do a few things. There's a few things that you need to do, and this is going to make you realize why you need to have... Can I take this off? It's gone already. But yeah, Inshallah, you've taken the notes. Thinking days, you're going to see, you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. Because what I'm going to ask you to do is going to make sense, but it needs time. The Prophet ﷺ spent a lot of time. He used to take food with him, provisions, to last a period of time in the cave. Because each and every one of us has a fitrah. And that fitrah is a voice of guidance calling us to the right way. But it's drowned out by the noise of the chaos of society. Right? That's why you don't know whether you're on the right track or not. You just think you are. You're robotically in autopilot moving forward, thinking you're on the right way. Why do you think we have these bubbles of celebrity fan culture and bubbles of Iman boost and addiction to Iman boost? You think you're getting pious because of it. I've learned something new because of it. No. You've just been temporarily inspired. But you don't know. Why? Because you never had a chance to audit yourself. We audit everything. We audit our GPA, we audit our bag, we check we have our subjects in order, our timetables, etc., etc., etc. We don't audit ourselves. And as the famous Islamic saying goes by Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, حَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. Take account of yourself before accountability is taken off you. So what are you going to do in these days? You're going to do two things. Number one, you're going to get a paper or a board. You need a board. Trust me. And you're going to split it in half and you're going to write ideals and non-ideals. Under these two sections, under ideals, you're going to think really hard. And you're going to extract every ideal you'd love to have in your life. And I mean think about it, brothers and sisters. Don't just do a shallow think process and jot down 5-6 things. Because I promise you, I've done this exercise with our youth. And when you push them, it ends up becoming 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They start seeing things they didn't even know that they had within them as a desire to have as part and parcel of their lives. On the non-ideals, you're going to list the non-ideals. And you're going to think deep. And you're going to write everything down. And then what are you going to do? You are going to you're going to go to this section of the ideals. So let's say for example, we're talking about being truthful. So truthfulness is an ideal. Being truthful. And you're going to analyze yourself. You're going to do what they call a gap analysis. What is a gap analysis? Gap analysis is truthful, this is 100% efficiency. Where am I from this particular ideal? So let's say this is you. So you have 30% efficiency. So there's a gap. This is a gap, right? This is a gap analysis. You've understood that, subhanallah, I lie a lot. I just didn't realize it. You're going to ponder over yourself and think about it. And I'm talking about all sorts of lies, even small matters. When someone says, did you eat? And you ate and you say, no, I didn't. Or you didn't eat and you say, yes, I did. That is a lie. And don't cheat yourself, because shaitan's going to come to you and say, brother, sister, it's not a lie. That's called white lie, blue lie. That's what shaitan comes. No. And don't be your worst enemy, be your best friend. And the way you are your best friend is by calling a spade and not a big spoon. Right? That's what we say in Africa. You know what a spade is? You know what a shovel is? Right? It's called a spade. Do you call that a big spoon or do you call it a spade? Right? So call a spade a spade. Under every ideal you're going to run this with. And you're going to see yourself on paper. You have to see it. Don't think it. I want you to see your guidance and see your misguidance. You're going to have another ideal about your parents. Respect to your parents. Ideals about salah. Right? Ideals about, for example, non-ideals, procrastination. Be honest with yourself. I delay my studies. Do I? Don't I? Do I? Don't I? What's it nowadays? What's the new world record on delaying studies? 1 minute before the exam, have we reached there? And every generation pushes it, right? Say that generation should study 1 week before the exam. Say 1 week, we study 3 days before. And the other generation says, no, we do overnight. No, we do overnight. The other one says, no, we did after midnight. Like I says, 2 hours before the exam, we just quickly flip to the book and we're going to the exam. What's the new world record here? Procrastination. That's a non-ideal. Do a gap analysis. What is 100% efficiency with regards to it? That it doesn't exist in your life. Where everything important in your life is never made urgent. Right? Salatul Asr, It has a start time when it's important to do. You don't delay it until it becomes urgent that if you don't do it, you're going to miss it. Right? You're studying as well. There's a time to start studying. You don't delay it until it becomes urgent that if you don't do it, you're going to miss it. Because everything done at the last minute is done with high stress. And anything done with high stress has poor output. That's how it is. By design, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry, it's physics. This is how Allah's done it. There's no way it's going to be the same. Somebody might say, well, I crash studied and I got 100%. And it did happen. Someone said, I crash studied and I passed, I got an A star. So I said, right, let me give you the exam now. Can you get an A star now? He said, no. Why? The information came here and then left there. So what's the point? What's the point? Right? So you're gonna run this. You're gonna do a gap analysis. Once you've done the gap analysis, so I lie, subhanallah, I lie, for example, 70% of the time. So what are you going to do after? So now you've understood the gap is at 70%. What's the next thing that you do? So you've done the gap analysis. Gap analysis. You're going to do a root cause analysis. I think some of you can see my IT background coming out now. Huh? Root cause analysis. Right. So you're going to do a root cause analysis. You're going to find out the reason. What are the reasons why I'm at 70% lying? Why do I lie 70% of the time? Figure it out. Then you're going to come up with solutions. The solutions analysis, you're going to write down your solutions and you're going to give it a go. By the time you get to your next thinking day, which is next week, next month, you're going to do the same thing and check. Have you lied less this week? Have you lied less this month? Have you become better with procrastination or not? And so on and so forth. You get the idea? So that's the first thing. The next thing is you're going to get another sheet of paper. You're going to divide it into 2 parts as well. You're going to write mandatory on one side. And you're going to write elective. And in this, you're going to list, under mandatory, you're going to list every role that you can't give up in life. And you better think hard about it. Some of you are aunts, you don't even know. Uncles, you don't even know. Think about it. Maybe you are. Do some research. If you are, write uncle, son, daughter, right? Grandchild, niece, nephew. These are, you can't step out of these roles. You will always be these things. Does that make sense? I'm a Muslim. Yeah? Over here, elective roles. Roles that you're flexible with. I'm a student. I volunteer at this organization. I have a part-time job here, etc., 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 right? You're going to write down all these other roles and you're going to run the same thing. Gap analysis in terms of your relationship. How good a nephew am I? How good a niece am I? How good a son am I? How good a daughter am I? How good a grandchild am I? Does that make sense? You're going to do the same thing. You guys are scratching your heads thinking this will take forever. Well, guess what? You're a project now. You see what happens when you respect yourself? Right? It needs effort. You've got to fight. You've got to work. So this is step number 2, cave days. And that's what you're going to do in the cave days. Step number 3, brothers and sisters in Islam, is salah. Don't mess around with your salah. Do not mess around with your salah. Whatever your situation is, brothers and sisters in Islam, whatever the worst deed is that you're guilty about, no matter how long you haven't been praying, no matter how long you've been delaying the prayer, whatever your situation is, right now, make a decision. You will never let the time for salah. Do not mess around. And wallahi, you're living in a Western country and you have the opportunity to pray salah. I walked in here and I saw brothers and sisters praying. That is amazing. All success begins with Allah. If you miss that meeting with Allah, who is the holder of all success, you will only be a failure. Don't ever make it an excuse that the exam delayed me, the study delayed me, the lesson delayed me, this delayed me, because Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُلْهِكُمْ أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادُكُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. O you who believe, do not let your wealth and your children, meaning the matters of this life, swerve you off the protection of the salah and your meetings with Allah. And as for the one who does it, then فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ, you will be undoubtedly from the losers. Brothers and sisters, from the losers. Who is saying this? Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Allah is, This is testimony from him that you will be a loser. Irrespective of your A stars, irrespective of your promotions, irrespective of your degrees, you are a loser. And as the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ أَدَّاهُنْ حَيْثُ يُنَادَى بِهِمْ كَانَ لَهُ نُورًا وَضِيَاءً وَبُرْهَانًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَمَنْ ضَيَّعَهُنْ ضَيَّعَهُ اللَّهُ. That whoever observes these salawat as they've been commanded and taught to, then they will have a light and evidence and guidance on the day of Qiyamah. And whoever wastes them, then not only will they be wasted, but Allah will waste them. Who's going to win like this, brothers and sisters? In any case, I've been told that my time is up. Everything corrected is from Allah alone and He's perfect. Any mistakes are from myself and Shaytan, and I seek His forgiveness. This is my presentation regarding clarity amidst confusion. Brothers and sisters in Islam, you have everything in your capacity to achieve whatever you want to achieve. You're created by Allah, you believe in Him, you worship Him, right? You can do anything you want. And as Dr. Seuss famously wrote, you have feet in your shoes and a brain in your head. You can go anywhere you want to go. And as Bob the Builder always teaches us, yes we can. جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
جزاكم الله Shaykh. I'm going to open the floors now for a few questions, or the question and answer session. So, due to time, I'll do 2 to 3 questions max, inshallah. So, has anyone got safe Allah? Could you just raise your voice as well, please?
So, can you have more than one vision? And what happens if, so for different vision, you have to have specific goals and values. And what happens if there is conflict between them?
Habibi, you want to sit here until tomorrow with that question. But I give you good news. I'm coming to Birmingham on the 6th of May. I think you have some flyers in front of you, right? Inshallah, I'm going to come teach this stuff in a bit more detail, okay? I want to come teach you guys about vision setting and difference between goals and missions, and this whole concept of ultimate visions versus visions, and whether a vision can change or can't change, time management, and different paradigm shifting and different soft skills, inshallah, that will assist you. So please sign up, inshallah, alright? If you have difficulty with the payments, then speak to a coach. Where's Brother Mushfiq? Is he around? Is he outside? Can someone call him in? So is that okay, brother? I'm just being realistic. What you've asked is a lesson, is a course. So I'll do one thing better. I'll come all the way back for you. So there's Brother Mushfiq over there, inshallah. So he will sign you up. Keep in touch with him about it. And as I said, if you have payment issues, he'll work out a plan for you, etc. All power is with him. They were asking me questions, Mushfiq, which need courses. So I said, we're having a course, inshallah. Alright? But if no one has a flyer, let Brother Mushfiq know. Any other questions?
2 more questions.
So like making your studies home worship, you said that one should make, do you have to make intention like every day, or can you make it a slight degree?
You can make it at the start of your degree. The intention is valid as long as it's clear to you. As long as it's always in play. As long as it's clear in your heart. That's an intention. It's not like words that you have to say on the tongue or anything. As long as you know why you do what you do. And inshallah, the 3 Eyes of Success talk that I asked to listen to will explain more about that. How to convert your degree into a Jannah building exercise. Whereby you come here and study, and at the same time your Jannah grows for you. Yeah? So I will listen, inshallah.
One more last question.
So we're doing it in 3s as well. 3 is the magic number.
So you were talking about how a lot of youth, especially at the time of A-level time, they don't have the vision. So then they go down a path and then later on they realize it doesn't support their vision. But don't you think that the system that's set up goes against the...
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. These things need fixing, right? But that doesn't mean we can't have the discussion now. Right?
I mean, because like a 16-year-old, his worldview is this small.
Not necessarily. And obviously this boils down to the parenting, etc. etc. Today people, I don't think it's the small. It's a bit bigger than that. Right? In reality, because everybody is local by presence but global in terms of thought. Let's be honest. You're physically local but globally actually present because of the internet and so on and so forth. I mean, I've traveled the world. I promise you, the guys in Malaysia, they probably know more about what's happening in England than the Brits do themselves. I'll be honest with you. All through Facebook. So how do you know this? When I just came from there, it's Facebook, Shaykh. I'll be honest with you, that's how it is. So, no doubt it needs to be changed, right? I mean, the brothers were discussing with me to possibly come back like in September and do this stuff for the new people who entered university, because you guys get 3 weeks before you can shift degrees after testing it out and so on and so forth. It needs to be done early. I think ideally, before you choose your A-level subjects, a sort of discussion has to happen. You don't have to have ultimate clarity, but at least you need to understand the importance of something being a means to an end. I think that is more focal in terms of you making the right decision. Because a lot of people today make the decisions because my friends are doing it, because my parents told me to, because I enjoy it. You might enjoy it now, but you don't know what's coming next. Right? And a lot of people enjoyed physics at A-levels but hated it at university. Right? So we can't be making these decisions based on these fragile foundations. That's what I mean. So we're not saying you're going to have all of the answers in terms of what you want to see, but I think you could get at least 33, 35% of. I think at 16 years old you can understand 35% of the world you want to see the day you die, and a third is a lot. Right? So that's basically my hope and my understanding of this. Right? There's a system.
This session has been very useful. I've got a son who's nearly 16. Do you hold your sessions besides the university? I've got a son here as well. And what you are saying today is been very useful. Do you have any sessions outside in the community as well, where there are younger children who are 14, 15, 16, who could find your talks useful?
Yeah, inshallah, as I said, I'm coming back on the 6th of May to teach this stuff. It will be with a Bothar Institute, so it's not specific to the university. You can enroll him into the course and you can attend. It will be a one-day course where we'll discuss this. I'm not based in the UK, I'm visiting. But inshallah in the future, we look at doing things online where a larger portion of people have access to it at least. And then maybe get the universities to create awareness about the online presence of these lectures, so at least there's distribution of the talk and then people can listen to it. Yes, inshallah. That's for your comments. But I wish you could see it before you leave, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, guys, and jazakallah khair to the Sheikh. One important message that we could take from this lecture. It's been very inspiring, but that's not enough. So it's also really important that we become practical and transform ourselves in that. So I just want you all to keep the Sheikh in your dua, and again, final one. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for coming. Really appreciate it.
Don't forget your homework, guys. I've given you enough to keep you going, guys. It's not just about let's thank the Sheikh. Wallahi, the best way you can thank me is by becoming the change you want to see. Right? When I come back and I see you being, the next revolutionary person in education, engineering, whatever, that will be how you thank me. When I see you igniting communities that benefit humanity and living as ignited people, making the right decision with regards to your marriage, making the right decision with regards to your parenting, making the right decisions, having wisdom in your life and process in your life and shura in your life that you benefited from our sitting tonight, that's the biggest way you can thank me. So promise me that and you've done me a world of good, inshallah. Yeah? Jazakallah.